Hello, and welcome to Go Talk Studios. I am your host, Lionel Lapidos. And here at Go Talk Studios, we bring you real people, real stories, real Sarawak. Now, our guest today completely rewrote his own trajectory, evolving from a self described lazy kid who avoided sports into a world class martial artist. By 16, he conquered the international stage to sign a historic $100,000 contract with One Championship. By 19, he's captured a state honor, he's launched a global brand, and he's pushed his body to the absolute limit by conquering a full marathon in Cape Town. He's built his entire reputation on immediate physical accountability inside the ring, but today, his mouth has created a whole new arena of conflict. His aggressive, unapologetic stance on public health and personal willpower has ignited a massive national uproar across social media, which in turn has turned him into one of the most fiercely debated figures in modern Malaysia. Johan Ghazali,
What's up, bro?
welcome to Go
How
Talk
are you? Nice
Studios.
to meet you.
Hey, pleasure to meet you.
Let's
It
go.
has taken ages to get you here.
Yeah,
All right.
long awaited.
It's been what, like 2-3 months?
I would say so. I met I was a producer,
Yeah,
right?
Gordon,
I met
correct.
Gordon on the flight back from Bangkok or Penang. I forgot where I was coming from, but I met him and he asked me to come on the podcast, and I said, "Why not?"
Thank
You
you,
know,
man.
yeah.
In fact, I think leading up to this, I see you've been. How does it work? Because you're in Cape Town, then I saw you were like on a podcast. Like, do you set out a period of time? You're like, oh, I'm gonna knock these interviews out. I'm guessing your phone is ringing all the time. You're shooting ads.
Not really. I just try to set up everything when I have time. I rarely have like complete days off, so whenever I have time, I'll just get something done. Because I like to be on the move, keep going. Because I would say the person I am is that when I stay at home for too long, I go crazy. Or if I don't do anything, I go crazy.
Oh, you have to be doing
I
something.
always have to be doing something. It doesn't matter if I'm like learning or like doing a podcast or doing whatever, so I have to keep moving, get the momentum going. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, you are probably the hottest topic on social media in Malaysia at the
That's good.
moment.
Yeah.
And I know people have a whole bunch of opinions about you. And maybe some of them are a bit unfair.
Yeah.
I have 3 theories about you,
Okay.
and I'll present those later. But I think it would only do you justice if we started from the beginning. Right? We figure out who Johan was as a kid, and then we'll build up onto who you are today.
Yeah.
So I was watching your podcast with your mom. Right? You interviewed your mom.
Yeah.
And in it, I remember you were describing yourself as a kid that had no interest in Muay Thai, actually.
I think my mom described me as that, but I'm not debating. I'm not debating it. So
Alright, yeah.
it's true. Yeah.
Alright, you said, okay, what? You like books and
Yeah,
you're
I
into
enjoyed-
gaming, I think.
I enjoyed like learning new things. I enjoyed science. I enjoyed arts and crafts. I enjoyed reading. So I wasn't really fond of doing sports, because my family was all into sports. Everyone played some sort of sport. My mom was a runner. My dad was a Muay Thai fighter. He was always out. My brother used to play football very, very well. He used to skateboard. Yeah, Elias. My little brother used to just follow my older brother wherever he went. So like everyone was somehow involved in sports. And I wasn't, of course I did it, but I did it because I was forced to do it.
Oh.
Yeah, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I found Muay Thai, I was like, okay, I changed my mind. I love sports. Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into that. I think I remember the first time I went into a martial arts gym, right? I was doing capoeira, and that first class, I thought I was pretty fit. You lift weights, you think my stamina is pretty decent, but that first class, it knocked the sales out of me. Like, I was on the floor dead. What was your first Muay Thai class like?
I would say it's pretty similar, but I was like 9. So I don't know. I wouldn't say the first Muay Thai class is what changed me. I think the first fight is what changed me. It's the first fight, because going into training was like the same as any other thing. Like playing football or doing that or doing whatever. I was just learning new things and just trying to have fun, but I wasn't like really 100% invested into it. Then I tried my first fight and I was like, shit, the adrenaline, the how you feel after you win the fight, the months of hard work. So it has a complete different feeling compared to other sports, and I stand by that for sure.
So in that period where you're going through the paces, then you
Yeah.
weren't really thinking of taking this up full time
Mhm.
up until the first fight.
Mhm.
And how long did it take for you to go into training? So how long were you training for before your first fight?
Probably like 3 months, something like that.
Three.
3 months. So I
Three-
was still very, very new. But Muay Thai has always been a part of my life because both my parents were fighters. So they would always like teach us the basics and stuff like that. So yeah, we would always go to Muay Thai fights as kids. But like really learning, I would say 3 months. And I just jumped into the ring and I loved it. I just couldn't wait to do it again.
See, the thing is what's so surprising about you is you're 19 right now.
Yeah.
You built this thing at 19.
Yeah.
And when we look at the time you started, so when you started, how old were you? 9?
9, yeah.
At what point do you decide, okay, I'm going to make this my full-time occupation? Like, what happened with school? What did you like say? Okay, I'm stopping school. Like, what was that transition?
I never really liked school, honestly. I never really liked school because I wouldn't say I knew it then, but once I started like high school, I realized that there's nothing that I can't learn on my own. And I realized that 95% of the things that the teachers are teaching me, I would never apply them in real life scenarios. Like now, even now, like managing my money or like where to invest or this and that. They don't teach you that in high school. They don't teach you that. Of course, I learned a lot of things from being in the setting of high school, like friends, social interactions, when to shut up and listen, stuff like that. Those are very useful to me. But like learning circumference or like all this extra math is like not very useful to me. And I've always told my mom, like, if it was up to me, I would drop out at like 15. But thank God I have my mom. So I finished my SPM. And the funny thing is, I'm not too bad at school. Every time I pass, every time I have quite okay grades for the effort I'm putting in. So yeah, I just feel like times are changing. And the education system has been the same for like how many hundreds of years. We've been doing the same crap, and it's obviously not making us like improve into the next level. And I feel like that I can learn anything I want nowadays, especially now. Knowledge is free. YouTube, TikTok, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my best teacher. I learn everything from there.
To an extent.
I mean, besides social interactions and like real life stuff, I learned that through real life experience. But like all this scientific stuff, this mathematic equations or everything, nowadays is different. You don't need to memorize that stuff.
Oh, well, I certainly would worry if that was my doctor.
Yeah, of course. I understand my parents 100%. I would do the same to my kids, but I'm not my parents. So it's my job to push myself and show myself what's the right way. Of course, I can listen to all these opinions of people telling me what to do, but at the end of the day, it's my life. At the end of the day, it's me who's going to be taking on the world.
And I think that's what's interesting about you, because to me, it now sounds like at a very, well, of course, at a young age, you kind of decided pretty early on that this is what I want to do full on. Did you ever picture yourself as anything else besides a fighter?
I don't know. I never really pictured myself. I never really limited myself, honestly. I never really told myself, well, I'm going to be this. I just told myself I'm going to be great at something. Even nowadays, even like being 10 years into Muay Thai, I don't want to limit myself as just a Muay Thai fighter. There's so many things in life that I want to do, and I only get one. I want to be an incredible Muay Thai fighter. I want to be an incredible businessman. I want to be inspiration to kids. I want to be the prime minister, honestly. I want to do everything I can in my lifespan, but the whole purpose of it is to give back to the people. If you get what I mean? Yeah, give back. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Then making money at 16.
Yeah.
I was watching your video, I think when you knocked out I think you're one championship and you knocked out this guy in 16 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And I remember your words. You're like, I'm 16 years old and I've knocked this guy out in 16 seconds. And do you remember what you felt in that moment? I remember seeing the passion in your eyes, and you look so young. Like you've evolved clearly from that stage. What did that feel like that day?
It was surreal. I felt like I was dreaming, because my whole Muay Thai career has been leading up to that point, that debut in one championship, because that's where I wanted to be. That was my biggest goal in Muay Thai. So to win in that kind of fashion and get the bonus at 16 years old is almost unbelievable. But it happened.
It almost felt a bit too easy.
I mean, of course, looking at it from an outside point of view, it looked very easy. But knowing the kind of stuff that I went through to get to that point, it wasn't easy.
Speaking of,
all
right. I have this theory about Muay Thai in Thailand. So you know how in Kenya, you'll find, say, long distance runners. The best long distance runners are typically found in one region in Kenya. And they say that the qualifiers for the World Championships for the Olympics are tougher in Kenya than they are, say, in the finals of the Olympics, because it's such a small pool of people who are competing for these places. And I think looking at your record, when you started off fighting in Thailand, I think you lost your first 5 fights.
Something like that,
right? And for you to continue, and you lose your first, you lose your fifth, what made you, say, take on that 6th one?
I guess it's just a character trait, a personality trait. Some people have it, some people don't. Like, there's 2 types of people, in my opinion. Someone who doesn't give up, someone who keeps going no matter what, and someone who gives up on the first try. Or there's someone in between. Still the one who gives up. But it's just, I don't give up.
Did you feel like giving up at that point?
All the time. In training, in fights, in whatever, I always feel like giving up. But I feel like it's a disgrace to my family. A disgrace to my bloodline, disgrace to the people who believe in me, the people who put effort into me, the people who invest. Of course, back then, I wasn't making any money. So my parents or like some close friends had to chip in to send me there. They believe in me. And who am I to just get in the ring and sit down? If they have to kill me before I give up. And that's just the type of person that I am, and I don't give up. If I lost the first 50 times, I would try for the 51st,
Now, when you were awarded that contract, $100,000, that's a lot of money for someone to make, especially at the age of 16.
100%.
How did your parents react?
My parents have always kept me very grounded. They've always kept me very humble and always keeping me grateful with what I have. But once I got the 100K, I was like, of course, they would do what any other parents would do. They would tell me, I need to invest this, I need to do that, I need to do what I can. But honestly, I just learned everything on YouTube. Where to put my money, what to do with it, how to keep it, what things to buy. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? And I would always, the final decision would always be onto me. They never took my money. They never kept it away from me, because I feel like at the same time, they trusted me. They know I'm not a dumb kid.
I wonder, does that change your relationship with your parents, though, and how they view you? Because you come home and you're like, well, now I have $100,000. You still live with them, or did you think, oh, let me get my own place?
No. They always kept me very grounded. I still went to school. I still finished my SPM. That was my SPM year. I still finished my SPM. I still did the exact same things that I was doing before I got the 100K. So it didn't change me. People always say money and fame changes people. It doesn't. In my opinion, it amplifies them. If you were a bad person before money and fame, you'd be a worse person with money and fame. If you were a good person, you were helping people and doing whatever, with money and fame, you would help a lot more people. You'd be a lot better person. So that's just the way I think, because that's who I am.
Okay, and we'll dive into that a little bit later. All right. Now, speaking of more awards, you were then awarded the Most Exalted Order of the Star of Malaysia by the Sarawak governor in October of 2025. Now, that's a state honor that most people never receive. Like, do you remember that moment? What did that mean to you?
honestly, I just remembered I got that. And
That was just like, oh.
it didn't really mean that much to me. It was like I'm thankful. Thank you guys, but I don't need an award to validate who I am. You get what I mean? Like, you can give me all the awards in life. I know who I am, and like, it's good that people recognize it, but I felt like they have recognized that way before they gave me the award. Yeah, so it's like, okay, thank you.
All right, interesting.
Like, no disrespect, but like, that's just how I was.
Oh, and we will. Very interesting. We'll dive into that part a little bit later on. Speaking more of the things you've embarked on, now you are also the brand ambassador. I've been seeing this thing, Blanco Fragrance.
Yeah.
All right. And I believe it's a signature Phenom Jojo edition.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
there's a few now.
So it looks like you're trying to expand like your business acumen, right? You're diving into a bunch of different things. Like, well, was that your idea? How did that even come about?
I mean, it's always been my idea. I want to be the best in all aspects of life. So, yeah, I'm the brand ambassador for a few brands now. I have a bunch. I have Xiaomi, Shopee, Blanco, Nate Skin. So there's a bunch of brands. There's so many more. I don't want to not name all of them because they'll get mad. But these are all brands that I enjoy working with, and I feel like they contribute to society. So like, I wouldn't go and take a brand that's not very helpful to society just for the money. You get what I mean? Of course, I get money from these people, but at the same time, one of the reasons that I'm working with them is to benefit other people's lives. Is to give back basically.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is one thing you've mentioned consistently. Like, you keep talking about how you want things that benefit people.
Yeah.
You seem to talk about how you're interested in making sure your brand aligns with something that's positive for
100%.
the population.
100%.
Let's keep a note of that for later on.
Yeah.
Back to your fighting, right? In those days, you were finishing your opponents, right? Early on, I think your first 2 fights, maybe, were by knockout. You won by knockout. And then your first loss. Do you remember how that came about? Did you have a So I'll give you an example in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like rookies speak of when they transition from college basketball to the professional league, they get a moment where they're like, oh, okay, this is a different level. And they call that a welcome to the NBA moment. So, for example, one of my favorite players is a guy called Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards was describing a moment where he's running down the court and a guy who's guarding him, not a superstar, just a role player, predicts his move. He's like, dribble hezzy left, shoot. And in his mind, it's like, oh, wow, okay, this is a very different platform. Did you have a similar welcome to, I guess, one championship moment like that?
I wouldn't say so, because I've lost a bunch of times before that. I've known, like, even going into a fight, because the difference between, I would say, basketball and Muay Thai is that Muay Thai is a very intimate sport. It's just me and the other guy. So months going into the fight, I would study the guy. So up until the fight, I would know that how good he is. I would know how hard the fight's going to be. So it wasn't like a shocker. I know it was going to be a hard fight, but even my first loss, it was very close. So to me, it was like, I lost. So what? I'll be back. I've done it before.
Was there a fight you felt like, nah, the judges got this one wrong?
There's a few.
Which one?
There's a few. The one versus Diego Paez. I felt like
that seemed pretty close.
I felt like that was very close because he poked me in the eye a few times. I felt like he should have gotten a bigger warning or whatever, a point deduction or whatever. But I'm not complaining. It is what it is. And I just take it as it goes. I do whatever I can to prepare. I do whatever I can in the lead up to the fight. And in the fight, whatever happens, happens. I've done what I can, and I can't really control what the judges say or what they do, but I just do my best, and that's all that matters.
Now, after that loss to Paez, was it Rotang messaged you after that fight? Right.
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
Rotang's always been very supportive. He just told me same thing that I was thinking. He said, like, It's just another bump in the road. You'll get there sooner or later. So just keep going. Don't give up.
So when you lose,
Yeah.
how do you process that? It sounds like it doesn't really bog you down. It's just it's expected, is it? That if you lose, you'll just come out better.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's either you win or you learn. That's the way to look at it. You know, I never really lose because after every single fight, I'm better than the person I was before. So that's the way I look at it. I look at it my every loss is like my first, second, and third attempt. You know, they're all attempts. So like if it takes me 100 attempts to get the belt, then I can't wait to fail 100 times. You get what I mean? Yeah.
And is that the ultimate goal? Is that what is?
I would say in my Muay Thai career, yes. I want to get the belt and then onto something else.
Why I asked that? Because I think in one of your interviews, you're talking about how you don't. It seems like you want to get the belt and leave. Like you have already aspirations that go beyond. Yeah. What are those? What are your aspirations?
I mean, there's so many. Like I said, you know, I want to be
prime minister.
Prime minister.
Right?
I'm serious about that. Yeah.
An inspiration to kids. A prime minister.
Yeah. But I guess the biggest thing is that if I've accomplished everything I can in Muay Thai, and like I can inspire people through my story, I would like to do something else that contributes to society. You know what I mean? So like by being prime minister, I can help the Malaysian people so much. You know, I can change a bunch of things. Of course, I don't have them 100% right now, but I have an idea of what I can do. Or if I start a business that can help people. Of course, you know, I want to make money. I want to make a lot of money, but to help people as well. You know, but at the same time, help myself.
Yeah. You see, what's fascinating about your personality when you're training or when you're fighting, and the personality that you present online, I think people find it a bit jarring. Like, so why? And I speak of your personality when you're training. I think Nong O, did I say his name?
Yeah, Nong O. Yeah.
Right. He said that he called you a great kid, and he said that your personality is actually on the shy side, and that you don't usually start conversations. And that sounds almost opposite of exactly what you are, say here or online. Which version is closer to the truth?
I mean, I think the reason why Nong O said that was because I respect him very much. You know, and everybody in the gym, I respect them all very much because they do exactly what I do. And some of them do it at a way higher level than I do. So the respect that I have for them is different than the respect I have for someone online or like one of the online keyboard warriors. So it's the way I speak to people is very different. I mean, it's not that I treat them differently, but like Nong O, Super Bond, and all the other great fighters in the gym, they know I respect them because they do something I can't, you know, and I can't have an ego with them because where would that take me? You know, because when I'm training, I have to eliminate my ego so I can learn as much as I can. So I think that's why he says that. It's not that I'm shy. It's just that I'm there to learn. You know, I'm not there with an arrogant mindset or I'm cocky or whatever. I'm there, my head's down, and I shut up and listen. That's what it is. Yeah.
And in your time training with them, it looks like, I may be wrong, but it looks like your style may have changed, right? I think you were pretty aggressive when you started off. Right. I don't know, were you chasing the knockouts in your earlier fights and now it seems more measured? Is that accurate? Is it because of them?
There's a lot of aspects that go into that. I think it would say that the caliber of opponents that I'm facing now compared to when I first came in is a lot different. You know, there's a whole different level to that. So, of course, if I wanted to, I want to go out and knock out everyone. You know, but it's not as easy as it looks because the level of fighter that I faced in my last fight compared to the one that I made my debut in is very, very different. So I wouldn't say I'm not knocking people out because of them. I'm definitely 100% a better fighter than I was when I first debuted, but so are my opponents. You get what I mean? So it's not,
Which fight would you say has been your hardest so far?
My last fight was a pretty hard fight.
Shimon?
Shimon was a pretty good fighter. I knew that going in. You know, he was on like a 5-fight winning streak, and everyone who he's faced was like really good fighters. So, but at the same time, I feel like that fight made me a much better fighter than I was before. So, yeah.
Well, did that fight feel tougher than the stupid young one?
Yeah, it was a harder
Really?
fight. Yeah. I'm a much better fighter than I was when I fought Estupinan. So every loss from here on out, I would say, is a harder fight than the last one. You get what I mean? Because I'm always getting better.
Evolving.
Yeah, I'm always evolving, getting better.
All right. So we've covered your fight now. We've covered your childhood. We've looked at some of the technical aspects of your fighting. And before we dive into the controversies, I want to talk about Cape Town. All right, you went to Cape Town. Your first time in Africa?
First time in Africa. Yeah.
What did you think of Cape Town?
It's beautiful. It's actually a very beautiful country. You know, I love it so much. The weather was perfect. It's just, it wasn't very safe, but I would say it was just some of the areas that I was in. And, I mean, you're from Africa, so you know how it is. You know, there's some
depending where you go.
very nice places. There's some very not so nice places, but all in all, it was beautiful. I loved it.
Now the question is, why were you running a marathon? Like, what made you decide to do that?
So like, one of my sponsors is very heavily into the running community. So like, they always sponsor like big time runners, like professional runners, to go run like majors all around the world. And that time they were having their first major in Africa. So they asked me, since I'm the brand ambassador of that brand, they asked me, you want to run a marathon? I said, why not? You know, if my time frees up. And so I just finished the fight and everything lined up. So I was like, free holiday. I can run a marathon. I can experience new things.
Was that your first marathon?
It was my first official marathon. I ran one alone, like on my own, just for fun.
For fun?
I would say.
For fun? No, man. No one's running about for fun.
I would say for fun. You know, because I've always wanted to run a marathon. You know, I always wanted to prove it to myself. So I did it on my own. In Kuching, actually. I just ran around Kuching. Since Kuching's so small, I was like running the same place 2-3 times. I just wanted to prove myself that I could do it, and I did it. You know, because I always see on social media everyone saying like, "Oh, this is life changing" and all this crap, but it's just a run. It's just a run.
There was no mental battle there?
Of course there was. You know, but it comes nowhere near to a Muay Thai fight or anything else that I've done. You know, it's just, of course, it's painful, it's tiring. You feel like giving up, but you feel that in anything you do.
Right on. So one thing that really stood out to me about your time in Cape Town, you were walking down the street. This is a story you posted. And some guy came up to you.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, Johan Ghazali? Yeah, I know you. I watch you."
Yeah.
He was a local. And you were like, "Oh, really? Thanks, man. You guys took a photo."
Yeah.
And then you looked at the camera and you were like,
"Oh, I know a video." Yeah.
Essentially, what you expressed was that you felt that, see, I get support from people outside, but I don't get so much support back home.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you feel you don't get support here?
Because it's true. You can see. You know, of course, the message wasn't aiming towards all Malay people. And I feel like my supporters knew that. So the reason why I said that, because 95% of my haters are all Malay. But also 90% of all my supporters are Malay as well. You know, of course, I said that in a way to be shocking and to make it viral. But there is truth to it, you know, and I stand by what I said. Of course, I could have said it in a lot nicer way, but I didn't, because I don't care. And
okay, why do you think 95% of the people, like of the Malaysian population, I don't know. You see, you've put 95%.
Yeah.
So
okay, maybe 50-50. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So why do you feel you have, say, this large audience of detractors or haters? Why? What do they hate about you? Why would they
just now
support
I said 95% of. So that was 95% of my haters and 95% of my supporters.
Well,
does that work? I think that works.
So 5% of your haters love you? 5% of your haters love you?
No, are Malay.
Oh,
I said that.
see, how can you even tell that?
Huh?
How can you even tell that?
It was educated guess.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
we
an
will
educated
dive
guess.
into that.
Yeah.
But why? Why do you think they hate you? Why do you think there are these people that hate you? What would they hate you for? What, like, you're a champion. You're young.
Yeah.
People love someone from their own country to represent them and to do well on the international stage. Essentially, you're a beacon for a lot of people. So why would they hate you? What would they hate about you?
There's a lot to hate about me. You know, I understand them honestly because for one, I'm young, handsome, rich, and famous. You know, and that's a fact. You know, I'm not pushing anything. I would say they hate me because one, jealousy. You know, I have what they don't.
Okay.
I'm young. I'm very outspoken. I have a lot of things that other people want, and I understand that. And I would say one of the biggest reasons is that I'm outspoken. You know, I don't filter myself. I don't filter my words. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. So, like, one of the things that people don't like is that I would say it's because of the difference of culture. You know, because I'm mixed. You know, my mom's American. Americans are very straightforward. If they don't like you, they'll tell you to your face. If they have a problem with you, they'll tell it to your face. And I'm a lot like that, you know, and I enjoy being like that. If, let's say, I feel like there's a problem in Malaysia, like an obesity problem in Malaysia, and there obviously is. 54% of Malaysians are either overweight or obese, and that's a big problem, you know, because being fat is not good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Correct.
And that's what I said. And I said, I don't really like fat people. And then, of course, into the video, I explained why. I explained that being fat is a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of your character. It's a reflection of you're lazy. You can't control what goes into your mouth. You know, you can't. You have your priorities all over the place, and I feel like health should be the number one priority, especially in Malaysia now. And people hate me because of that, because I say things are true. I say things that are true. You know, like everything I'm saying is facts. And I believe that, you know, and I don't care what people say. It's just the way I say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that a little bit. When you say that people don't like me, the first thing you said was is because I'm young, rich, and famous.
Yeah.
See, already, I think don't you think you're setting yourself up to alienate yourself from people? Because now you're implying that, oh, so I'm young, rich, and famous.
Yeah.
They don't
Handsome.
like me.
You forgot handsome.
Oh, handsome. So these people are old, poor. Well,
I never said
certainly
that.
not famous.
I never said that.
But so then if you're contrasting yourself from them because they don't like you for these reasons because they're not that, is it?
I mean, I would say a lot of people aren't young, handsome, rich, and famous. You know, of course, there's some
ugly,
people.
They're poor. They're
No. That's not what I'm saying. There's some people who are old, handsome, rich, and famous. There are some people who are old, not so handsome, rich, and famous. But nobody has it all. You know, like me, I have it all. I'm young, handsome, rich, and famous all together. So I'm not saying that other people. Actually, I am saying other people don't have what I have, and I'm grateful for that. And some people love me for that, and some people hate me for that.
Okay. Now, for sure, I think this is going to generate a bunch of outrage. But
it's good. I'm not lying.
Okay. But I think as we dive into this and we look into maybe your views and why people may not.
Yeah.
Why white people may love you and white people may hate you.
Yeah.
Right. So I have three theories, as I've said off camera.
Okay.
Right? And my first theory, and you can tell me where I'm wrong and maybe where we are.
Okay.
My first theory is that, as you just said, this is who you are. You've always been like this.
Yes.
These are your views.
100%.
This is authentically you.
Yeah.
Right? You say what you think and you're unapologetic. Theory number one.
Yeah.
The second one is that you've been an elite athlete since childhood. Right? Do you have a private chef?
No, I don't.
Do you have a nutritionist?
No, I realized I could do all that myself.
But you're in a family that has a gym.
We opened a gym, yes.
Right? you have been in this lifestyle since you were a child, right?
Yeah.
You've never had to worry about getting a job. Your entire job is your occupation, and part of
Mhm.
your job revolves around what it is you do. So you have no idea what it's
It
like.
revolves
Say,
around what?
so when you wake up,
Yeah.
when you drink, it's all in the mindset of your job, right? Your job is
Like
to
I have
Muay Thai.
multiple jobs, so which
Oh,
one?
Muay Thai. So Muay Thai, you're a professional fighter.
Yeah, I'm
right?
a professional fighter.
Right.
Yeah,
So that would be your career.
I would say so. But nowadays, I'm a brand ambassador. You
Hmm.
know, I have shoots like this, and
Hmm.
not everyone can do what I do. You know, of course, if I was to limit myself and say I'm 100% a Muay Thai fighter, I wouldn't be able to speak the way I'm speaking right now.
Hmm.
So to say that, you know, my whole life revolves around being a Muay Thai fighter, no. You know, I spread myself evenly around all aspects of life.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
We're still on the second.
Yes,
theory.
yes.
Ideally, that you've never had to navigate the, say, the structural realities of ordinary people's lives
Because I don't choose to be ordinary.
but
Yeah.
again, which is a privilege. It is also.
It is, yes.
Right?
Everything's a privilege.
Okay. And my third theory is that, which is probably what I lean more towards. Actually, I believe a bit of all three. My
Yes.
third one is that a lot of this is calculated. That, right, you studied Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
You've probably seen a lot of the marketing that goes around. Well, examples like Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor would come
Yeah.
to mind. Right. And you know that polarizing figures
Yeah.
make money as opposed to athletes that aren't in the news headline. In combat sports, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and you need eyes. In one of your interviews, where I draw this from, I think the question you were asked was, well, why don't organizations like One Championship have events in Malaysia anymore? And I think you said something along the lines of like, well, the market isn't there. We don't have that much of an audience. And at that time, I thought, so is all this to generate an audience, to draw more eyes? So whether people like you or not, people will then be drawn to your fights. There are more eyes coming in, and there's more money coming into this. And all of this is just a play. Because I think I've seen you label yourself a marketing genius. So I wonder, the genius part may be questionable, but is it marketing? For sure.
I mean, I am a genius.
Okay.
No, but I agree with you. You know, I agree with all three theories. What was the first one again? I agreed with it, but I forgot what it was.
So essentially, that this is just who you are. I would say, if I were to put it succinctly from your first interview, your mom, you asked your mom, you're like, oh, do you think money has changed me? And she said that, oh, you've always been an asshole. And you kind of disagree with it. So we could sum up the first theory as that.
I disagreed with the part of her calling me an asshole, but that's just her being sarcastic.
Okay.
You know, so she knows the way I've been since I was young until now. I've been the same person. I speak the same way. It's just now I have a camera in front of me. That's the whole difference. It's now I have a camera and I have an audience. So in my opinion, that's the only thing that changed. And the second thing is that people hate me because like my life revolves around this or something.
Well, essentially, fitness is part of your life from the time you were 9.
Because I call people fat, right?
Well, okay. So you became a professional at what age?
I would say since I started. You know,
so your whole life has revolved around fitness.
I would say so. But that, like, just me being a professional athlete, I'm not asking anybody to become like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, I just want you to be somewhat healthy. Be in a healthy BMI range. You know, I'm not telling anyone to be in a professional Muay Thai fighting type fitness body. You know, just be healthy. Don't be obese. Don't be overweight. So I honestly don't think I'm asking much. And the reason why I came to that opinion was because I just came back from Japan. And it was extremely hard for me to find someone who was obese in Japan. They all ate good food. They all ate cake. They ate desserts. They ate good food. But the reason is I feel like they were a lot more health conscious than the people here.
Okay.
You get what I mean? And then the last one was, what was the last one? What was the last theory? Sorry.
Oh, that this is just you doing promo, trying to get more eyes, to bring more money into the sport, maybe into Malaysia.
I agree with that
to
one
grow
too.
your brand?
Yeah. The reason, like you said when we were here, the reason why you know me more compared to the other Muay Thai fighters, because now there's a few. There's actually quite a lot, but the name that stands out is Johan Ghazali. And the reason why you know mine is because above all, Muay Thai fighting is a business and it's entertainment. So in order to entertain a crowd, you need a crowd. So I need to be shocking. I need to say things that it's not that what I'm saying is a lie or a fake. I'm being 100% truthful. It's just the technique of the way I say it. I have to be shocking. I have to bring in the views, and whether I like it or not, that's just the business that I am. And I evolve with where I'm at. You get what I mean? If I was a podcaster, right? I would try my absolute best to be the best podcaster in the world.
Correct.
And the way to do that is to be knowledgeable,
right?
To be able to bring in views. If being good looking would help, I would be good looking. I would take care of the way I look. Right. I think someone would prefer a fit podcaster rather than a fat one. That's just my opinion. And I would do everything I can. So the business that I'm in right now, the Muay Thai fighting business, is an entertainment. So I have to be shocking. I have to be entertaining. I have to be able to bring in views. It's not that I'm lying. I'm saying the right things. I'm saying the truthful stuff. But people just don't like the way I say it. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not saying everybody dislikes it. I have so many fans who message me saying that, thank you, you changed my life, you're an inspiration to me. But I also have haters who say, oh, you outspoken piece of shit, you should go die, or some shit like that. But it's not gonna change the way I say things, because I don't bend to masses. I am who I am, and I stand by it.
And you're rightfully entitled to stand by your views. But I think it's also important to understand that when people are trying or looking at you for inspiration, like you say, you wanted to be prime minister.
Yeah.
If you're alienating, as you said, 54.4% of the Malaysian population are either obese or overweight, and you are now actively insulting them, right?
Because they're fat, yes.
One, do you not feel you're alienating this whole group? Why should they support you if that's the case?
I would say that most of them support me. Not all fat people hate me. I have so many fat supporters who tell me that you are right and I agree with you and you have inspired me to lose weight. But I feel like I'm alienating, or is that the word?
Correct.
Alienating,
correct.
Myself from something that's bad. I'm not alienating myself from something that's good. Okay. So I have no problem with it. And I feel like smart people who have a somewhat okay brain on them, they understand what I'm trying to do, and they know that what I have now, I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm young, handsome, rich, and famous, and they know all these things are good. So, of course, why would you want to stay being obese? Why would you want to stay being poor? Why would you want to, if you could be somewhat good looking, I know it's, of course, genetics, right? But if you take care of your skin, if you groom yourself properly, if you go to the gym, you'll look better than you were before.
All right.
So I'm alienating myself from something that's bad, and smart people will realize that. So they would want to alienate themselves from something bad as well if they look up to me. You get what I mean?
Okay. You make somewhat of a point. Now, the data that you've been referring to is from the National Health and Morbidity Survey, right, where they talk about how 54.4% of Malaysians are overweight or obese. When you see a number like that, you realize that this is at a national level. Right?
Okay.
This is a structural issue. This is no longer about an individual. Right? There are reasons that affect the population at such a scale, and they go beyond an individual's motivation. Right. So if you ever actually taken the time to look into why that is such an issue at a national level, but then you have now reduced it to, so half of the Malaysian people are just lazy, they don't care. Is that the viewpoint that?
I think it's the mindset. It's a mindset problem.
No.
No?
I'll push back on that,
Yeah.
and I'll read out some data points to
Okay,
you.
tell me.
So, the World Obesity Federation projects that over 2.5 million Malaysian children will be living with obesity by 2030. All right, and that's something you've pointed out. You're
Damn,
like,
that's
my
bad.
goodness,
Yeah.
that is bad. Right. But this is where public health research comes in, and
Mhm.
it points to specific structural reasons
Yeah.
as to why this is happening. Malaysian cities are built around cars, correct?
Yeah,
They're not
that's true.
actually walkable
That's true,
cities.
yeah.
The tropical heat and humidity actually make outdoor exercise pretty difficult, which I understand you will push back on and say, but I go out.
True. It's
right?
true. Yeah, that's somewhat true.
Right? Ultra processed food is significantly cheaper than nutritious protein food.
Yeah.
And Malaysian food culture is built around high sugar and high carb staples.
Yeah.
Structurally speaking, it is actually really difficult for people at a national level to overcome these barriers. Of course, things can improve, but there are things that go beyond an individual for them to address these issues.
Of course.
So when you then come out and then say, oh, but why can't you just go out, right? I'm like this.
Yeah.
Why can't you be like that?
Yeah.
You're failing to acknowledge that there's a wider problem here at play. And if these issues are going to be resolved, they need to be higher forces. The structures need to be put in place for people to address these issues.
That's why I want to be prime minister.
Oh, but no,
I want to be prime minister. I can change all this crap.
No.
Okay, the reason why I'm so comfortable with saying the things that I say is because I see it in real life. I see my parents. My dad has a full-time job. He is 100% busy all the time, 24/7. He runs a whole police academy. All his peers are all obese. They're all fat. Of course, I respect them, but they could be slim.
Okay.
My dad is fit. My dad goes to the gym every day. He eats crap. He eats nasi kanda. He eats all these Malaysian food. He doesn't eat no Western steak or expensive food. He eats sardines. He's a real Malay man.
Mm-hmm.
He eats Malaysian food and he lives in Malaysia and he has a full-time job just like everyone else. But he is fit. He is fitter than all of his peers. And the reason why I'm so comfortable with saying what I'm saying is because I know it's 100% possible. And I feel like the Malaysian people's priorities are in the wrong places. I feel like their number one priority should be their health. I'm not saying my dad's number one priority is being a superhuman, healthy person. It's just he knows how to balance. And I feel like his nutritional knowledge helps him a bit. He knows that, if he eats too much fried chicken, he'll be fat. So why not change the fried chicken to like steamed chicken? You get what I mean? If he eats too much rice, he gets fat. Or if he doesn't go to the gym, he will be unfit and fat. So my dad is a perfect example. And he's one of the reasons why I'm so comfortable with saying what I am. Because he works like crazy. He still finds a way to balance his health, balance his nutrition, balance everything while living in the same place as all these other people are. And I think it's just the mindset. I honestly think it's the mindset. If you change your priorities, you will always find a way. Everybody has 30 minutes to run a bit or do a brisk walk or, at least park a bit further from your workplace. There's always a way. There's really no excuse for being fat. To be fat and obese and blame it on everything around you is really the wrong way. You can be fit by just watching what you eat. I'm not saying you have to do a marathon. You don't have to be a full-time Muay Thai fighter. Just have the mindfulness of knowing what you eat. And to say that you can't get the knowledge of what this type of food does to you or this type of food does to you, that's bullshit. Because you can get everything from ChatGPT. You get what I mean?
And all is fair. But I think, again, this is where you are failing to understand that these are structural issues. It's very easy to point to one individual, in this case, your father.
Yes, of course. Right? Of course. I know multiple. I know so many.
No doubt. But again, you don't know the majority. If we say over 50% of the population has this problem, the way you've grown up and the struggles that maybe you are exposed to are far removed from the struggles of the ordinary person.
Of course.
Right. So if the ordinary person in this case, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No. But to say that I don't struggle the way other people do, that's
No, we all don't struggle
well,
the same way. That's for
yeah,
sure.
I know. But like talking about being fit and slim and healthy, I would say I go through the same struggles of doing it. You get what I mean?
Not when.
Of course, by maybe like opportunity wise, or like making money wise, or like doing other stuff. But being fit and healthy it's not all that hard. Wherever you are in life. You know, are you saying that fat people are fat because they're surrounded by more food? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we're not saying. Like, it's not just the food itself. They are the structures that kind of, yes, at an individual level.
Yeah.
They're probably, maybe of that 50%, maybe half of them could do better. But for another group, and maybe the majority as well, let's take a single mother, for example.
Yeah.
All right. If she has a job that she works 9 to 5,
Yeah.
she has kids to take care of, right? At the same time, when she comes home, she has to cook for these kids, right? If she's not really earning much, and I don't know if you know what it's like to work 9 to 5, it's not really a 9 to 5. It's very common for you.
I don't work from 9 to 5. I work from 6 to 10 to 3 to 7. I work a lot more than all these people.
What do you do? You'll be?
I train.
There we go.
Yeah.
Most jobs are desk
No,
jobs.
but the thing that you're coming at is like being fat. The only way to be fat is to eat more than you're supposed to eat. It's really not that hard. People make it so.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. You see, part of what's changed the economy is also changes in the food industry.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a sugar tax that's imposed because of the amount of sugar that is in food. So people take in more calories than they would actually think they take. Right? They're not. Do you track your calories? I assume you do. Right.
Sometimes.
Most people.
Yeah. If I'm cutting weight, I do.
But on an average day.
No, I don't.
Oh. But you're mindful of how much you eat in a day.
Yes.
You're well aware.
Always.
That's actually quite a privilege when you have to work.
How is being mindful of your food a privilege?
No, because it's not as simple as that. Like, if I have kids and I work my 9 to 5 job, right, and I have to come back and then I still have to work, I have to cook for my kids, and I don't earn that much money.
Yeah.
What food am I getting?
Whatever you have. What do you have? Okay, let's say you don't. What's the average Malay diet? What do people eat? Nasi lemak. Okay, nasi lemak is probably what 800-900 calories. The average calorie intake for a normal human being is 2,000. Okay, take 2 nasi lemak a day, and you'll be fine.
Oh, easier said than done. So they should just take 2 nasi lemak a day.
Yeah, just be mindful of what you eat. Don't overeat. It's really not that hard.
No.
And if you're, let's say, like you said, single mom, you know, she's working 9 to 5, she doesn't make that much money.
Then they're buying fried chicken on top of that. And I think,
why would you buy fried chicken?
Oh, but that comes with the diet, right? That comes with the meal that you're buying, with the nasi lemak you're buying.
I mean, you can choose something else.
Like?
Even if you eat fried chicken, like, as long as you don't I eat fried chicken. As long as you don't overeat on fried chicken, you won't be fat.
But that's the thing, though.
Or like, if you want to, let's say you want 2 fried chicken, just cut the rice in half. Just just be mindful of what you're eating. It's really not that hard, honestly. I really do not believe it's that hard. Like, even if you're a 9 to 5 mother working, okay, you have to cook, you have to do this. I would honestly think that she would be fitter than most. Because she's always moving around. She's always doing housework.
That's the thing. No, standard jobs are not like that, right? Most jobs are desk jobs, right? You sit in a place and you sit for hours.
I understand that. I understand that very much. But the way you become fat is by overeating. You understand? If you eat too much, you will become fat.
You eat more than you burn.
Yes,
right.
You overeat more than you need. So the solution to that is just don't eat too much. It's really easy.
I think we could go in circles.
I understand, but like I don't get what you're trying to be.
Oh,
trying to say.
Then you know, I think I could point you to 2 papers, and you could have a look into exactly how the food industry is actually shaped some of the problems some of these structural issues that we can look at, and we can link those for people watching the show, and then you can understand why this problem exists in Malaysia, why it's projected to go this way, and it's not as though this is not being thought about or not being fought. It is.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's no
it's
doubt.
not a simple solution at an individual level, and that's what maybe we can get into.
The solution comes from an individual. So as long as you're an individual that, you do your part of trying to be healthy. If multiple individuals and more and more and more individuals, sooner or later, the whole problem will be gone. And what I'm saying is there's no doubt that food nowadays is cheaper because it's easier to make and like the nutritional value is lower.
Yes,
of course. But that's not an excuse. Just be mindful of what you eat.
Finding time to exercise is a lot harder than
I understand, but to lose weight, you don't need to exercise, honestly.
But that's what we're saying, though. If you're eating so many calories, but then you don't get to burn those calories,
and don't eat so much calories.
But when you eat a burger, McDonald's, for example, right? Now I don't know what the calorie count is.
It's probably like 600 or 700.
But it's not a filling meal, right? For someone who would be eating, that's not a filling meal.
Yeah.
So they're bound to take more. They'll probably have a Coke on the side, right?
I mean,
and how many calories are we looking at there?
What?
With the Coke, right? You might be more aware of this than I am.
Yes, of course. It's a lot with the Coke and the fries and all this stuff. But
that meal may not be satiating.
Well, the whole point of losing weight is to be hungry. You have to get used to the fact that you are going to be somewhat hungry. And of course, understanding the nutritional value like I do from YouTube and ChatGPT and Instagram Reels and all this stuff, they tell you exactly what you need to know. Okay, it would be 100% smarter to have 2 burgers rather than 1 burger with fries and Coke. Okay? If you know that, why don't you just take 2 burgers, plain water? Easy. By then you're already cutting off. By then you're already cutting off 300 to 400 calories. By the end of the day, you would be more satiated than if you ate 2 McDonald's meals. Say you took 1 burger, fries, and Coke, right? You would have cut off 300 to 400 calories by the end of the day, and throughout a month you would have lost what, 2-3 kilos.
Oh, this is assuming that you're also exercising in some way.
No, this is just based off your daily calorie intake. So like the daily calorie intake for a healthy healthy person like me is 2,000. If you're fatter, it would be like a lot more. So as long as you're eating under that calorie intake, even by a bit, you will lose weight.
Well, you know what? I will have to consult the experts on this. The nutritionists and the doctors, maybe they can tell us.
It's simple. It's calories in and calories out. It's like you have a budget. Say you have 2,000 ringgit. You have 2,000 ringgit to spend a day. But no, you buy...
A day?
Yeah. This is an example. So 2,000 ringgit to spend a day. And say you spend 2,100 ringgit a day. You're 100 ringgit over your budget. Throughout a month, you will gain weight. But if you're 100 ringgit under your budget, throughout a month, you will lose weight. It's simple as that. It's numbers in, numbers out. Just understand what's in your food and how many calories there is. And to say that nobody has the access to that knowledge is bullshit, because everybody has a phone. Everybody has internet.
But that's the thing, though. I think whilst people may have access to it,
they don't use it.
Yeah. But in the same way, right, if we look into some of these structural issues that actually exist around why food has so many calories, I would argue you have no idea.
What do you mean?
Right. You have no idea as to understand why is it that the Malaysian population is suffering from this more than, say, Singapore, more than Malaysia.
Biggest.
And you draw it down to so you're saying Malaysians are less motivated than, say, people in Thailand or than the Japanese?
In the aspect of their health, 100%.
Okay.
100%. That's a fact.
Okay. We can do this. Would this be an acceptable challenge? If I were to send you those 2 papers to read, maybe there are a couple more, but at least those 2.
What did they say?
Oh, well, exactly. They look at the structural issues, the causes for why these issues exist.
Nobody's
would you be
forcing
open to read that?
Huh?
Would you be open to reading that?
Of course, I'll read anything. I've no problem with reading it. But okay, I understand structural issues and stuff like that. You can't walk everywhere. The weather's hot.
mandate,
Huh?
if your mandate, if you plan to be, say, the Prime Minister of
Yeah.
Malaysia, these are some of the things you'd have to understand.
Of course, I understand them. I live here. I understand that I can't walk everywhere like Japan. I know the reason why Japanese are more slim than here. Everybody walks there. Everybody uses their bike. Everybody moves around. They're never like Malaysians have a sedentary lifestyle. But in order to counter that, is to eat less.
Okay. Okay.
You get what I mean?
I don't think we will arrive at a point where we can agree. But
I feel like I'm making a pretty simple point here. You don't think so? Like, to become slim, it's either you work out more or you eat less. So the problem we have in Malaysia right now is that we can't walk like the Japanese do. Or like we can't...
Why can't we? Because
the infrastructure is not built around walking. And I understand that 100%. So in order to counter that, you have to eat less. We have to sacrifice somewhere.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But
walking isn't fun.
You're expecting this at a national level. It's not realistic.
I'm not expecting that at a national level. I'm expecting like each and every individual to be mindful of the problems that we're facing. So if you know you can't walk as much as the Japanese do, just eat less than the Japanese do. It's really simple. It's not really a huge problem here. It's really common sense.
Okay, if you say so. I don't think we will come to a point of agreement here. I think we've come to some point where you've recognized something, especially as far as, say, maybe just infrastructure, and that's one.
What else is there? Weather? Of course, it's hot.
The food. Okay, let's just talk about the food. I think that's what we talked about just now, right? That
I mean, who's making the food?
Who is making the food? Ordinary people, right? Like
ordinary people, restaurant, business owners. Of course, if they acknowledge that their food is fattening and their food is bad for people, change the food.
Oh, but there we go. Now, when you run a business, now, this is why then reading some of these papers may help, because now you understand how economics now comes into this and how that actually affects the ordinary person, right? When you
can't make as much money, is what you're trying to say.
Oh, well, you see, now, your potential and your ability to make money is decided by a number of things. But I think one thing that's for certain is not everyone can make millions. Not everyone can make... Not everyone's going to earn a $100,000 contract. Some people come from really tough circumstances. They'll only earn ever so much. And for us to then look at individuals and then say, oh, well, you just have to work hard and you'll make money is not a realistic prospect.
I think so. I think if you work harder, you'll make more money.
But okay. But now as Prime Minister, right? Let's say potential Prime Minister.
No, like why don't you think that? Why don't you think if you work hard, you can't make money?
I'm not saying you won't. But if we're going to be realistic about the situation on the ground, it is not going to happen that every single person in a country...
Of course. There's always going to be lazy people. The quota for being...
No, so you think that people who are poor are lazy? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not saying all, but most.
Oh, okay. Now, if it worked that way...
I wouldn't say lazy, but I would say they don't put their hard work in the right places.
Okay. Now, we could... The problem with this conversation is we could end up going into economics. We could then look into, well, some of the weaknesses of the capitalist system.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is inevitable, especially in how our system is designed. For people to make money, some people have to make way less than the value that they produce.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. The quota for being a poor person will never be enough. You understand? There's always going to be poor people.
And the people most easily affected by these poor diets are the people in this bracket.
But still, knowledge is free. You don't have to pay for knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
So in order to understand what's in your food, and let's say if you want to eat nasi lemak, okay? Nasi lemak is cheap. I'm not saying you can't eat nasi lemak. Just understand that if you eat too much of your nasi lemak, you will get fat. Knowledge is free. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has internet. So it's not like 100 years ago where you had to pay to learn this from this person and that and that and that. No, just put it in your phone. How much calories does a normal person need to eat per day? 2,000. Okay, we'll put 2,000. How much calories does this food? You can take a picture and put it into ChatGPT and it will tell you exactly what it has in it.
So conversely then, does someone being skinny equate to them being healthy?
Not really, but it's a very big indicator. I would say.
That they're healthy.
But okay, being skinny does not mean you are 100% healthy, obviously. But being fat and obese 100% means you are less healthy than someone who is healthy. You get what I mean? You are just not as healthy.
So could you see someone and just say, oh, they're definitely healthy just by looking at them? If they were skinny, let's say.
Not really. I wouldn't say so.
But is your issue with weight or is it with health?
No. Fat is the number one contributor to having bad health. So if you're overweight, you're 100%, you have bad health. Don't you agree with that at least? I'm not talking about slim people here. The topic is obese people, fat people. So for me to judge someone who's skinny, I can't do that, because there's all sorts of things that go into that. You have to check someone's lifestyle. You have to go to a doctor and do that. But being fat is a 100% clear indicator that you will either have problems in the future or already have problems. Fat is the number one contributor to having bad health.
Okay, wonderful.
You agree with that? At least, come on.
I'm sure for sure. No, being overweight and obese is
bad.
Not ideal.
Exactly.
It's not ideal.
That's what I'm saying. I never said that all skinny people are healthy.
But
I'm just saying,
potentially prime minister.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds a bit irresponsible and a bit erratic to then attack people for that, when we've both come to acknowledge that there's a structural issue, or there are a number of structural issues at hand. Yeah. When you're well aware, like maybe your job will be at some point, you'll be like, okay, I want to make sure that most Malaysians are at a certain financial level, that our food industry maybe reduces sugar, we put the tax on sugar. All right, that nutritious food becomes more affordable.
We really don't need to do all of that. Honestly, let me backtrack, okay?
Okay.
I truly believe that all fat people just don't have their priorities in check.
Okay.
Okay,
we're going in a circle.
There is no excuse for you to be obese. There's really no excuse for you to be severely chronically obese and overweight. Like, just knowing what's in your food is enough to lose weight.
Okay, we are going to. I don't think we're going to come to an agreement here. But if I do send you those papers, will you read them?
I'll read them for sure. I'll read them.
All right. I would love to know what you think after you do.
No. What's in the papers? Just tell me what's in the papers.
Oh no. So it's exploring why these problems exist, and it's trying to understand how do we solve that problem.
Is it what you said just now? Infrastructure.
It's part of it. No, it's part of it. Like I'm not doing the papers. I'm not doing these two papers justice. They really go in depth. Like these are people who've taken the time to actually research these problems. And
I understand,
to look at how do we actually solve this?
What are the problems?
Well, the problem where we say that people are obese and overweight, because it is a public health crisis when over half the population has this condition. Right?
Because of?
So that's what this paper explores. Why? It answers it. And
the simple answer, because why, is because they eat too much. They move less. That's easy.
Okay, yes, I'll give you this. But I think what you'll learn is that the answer is not as simple as that. That's what we'll come to. Can we agree on that? That the answer is not that simple. And whilst you may have your point for now, if you read this, maybe you'll understand that there's a lot more to it than people's motivations.
I understand that it's hard to be slim, but it's also hard to be obese. You get what I mean? It's hard.
I don't think people would dispute that. I think
of course it's gonna be hard. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna have to work a little bit harder in order to be slim. But it is 100% possible. Not saying I don't wanna, like, you saying this is like you having a victim mindset, saying that you are fat because of this. When honestly, it's really not that hard. All you have to do is eat less than you eat, and then you need move a little bit more. Of course, it's going to be hard. There's no doubt about that. But being obese is hard.
That's not in dispute at all. It's not. And who knows? We'll see after. If you do take the time to read, then we'll see. And then we'll see how this conversation changes.
Okay.
But thank you, though. It's the fact that you're this open and honest, I truly appreciate.
fine with it. No
But
problem.
what does your family make of your comments? Because I remember hearing your mom, and she was saying, "Oh my gosh, like your mom and your grandma, were like, please don't be saying these things. Like, don't be so inflammatory." Like, how does your family or how do your siblings react when they see some of your comments?
The funny thing is, I get most of my views from my mom. Because she 100% agrees with everything I say. It's just she doesn't like the way I say it. The same with other people. Of course, she's my mom. She doesn't want me swearing. She doesn't want me attacking people. But she also does not understand social media. She doesn't understand that in order to be seen, in order to get views, you need to be a little bit shocking. But my mother 100% agrees with what I say. She says that being fat is a choice. Being obese is a choice. Being the number one problem in Malaysia is that people are lazy. And that's true. So, of course, the way I play it on social media is that my mom is like my biggest hater. No, I get most of my views from her. And the only problem she has is the way I say it. But I understand why, because she doesn't understand social media.
Oh, so you're doing it for social media, for shock value?
Yes, somewhat to a point, yeah. Of course, if I see someone in real life, I wouldn't go up to him and say, "I hate fat people." No. I would go up to him and say, "Bro, being obese is not very good. You need to take care of your health. You need to be health conscious." And I show him the ways. But in order to have people understand the problem is to have people look at the problem in the first place.
So if you're doing this for shock value, why? Like, what's the end goal? Why? Why do you want this shock value? Why do you want the eyes?
So people understand that being fat is bad.
Oh, so you actually have, that's the thing. It's like, I just want to talk about being fat.
No, not just about being fat, but about all the problems. Everything. In order to people to listen to me, they have to at least look at me first. In order to have them look at me, I have to be shocking. That's just the way it is. That's how social media is. If I go on social media and let's say I sit like this, I say, "Guys, today we're going to talk about the importance of losing weight." Nobody's going to give a shit because I live in reality and that's how it is. And I know that even this podcast, you guys will understand once you see the views. Once you see the views, every time I say something shocking, people will look. If I sit and say, we talk as civilized people, talk as if like I'm meeting someone on the street, nobody will listen because that's the problem. People are addicted to shocking stuff.
Actually, yes. And I think maybe it's an unfortunate reality of
It's
the
unfortunate,
age
but we
live
got to
in.
evolve with what we have.
But then we come back to one of your heroes. I believe your idols, one of them was Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
All right. And yes, I mean, I think as we spoke earlier off mic, right, we're talking about how Muhammad Ali wasn't exactly a humble character.
Yeah.
Right. But Muhammad Ali, apart from being termed the greatest, was also termed the people's champion.
Yeah.
And part of what made him so endearing was the fact that most of his fights were, well, with fighters, not with the ordinary people. All right.
Yeah.
And
actually, there was a very big fight with the ordinary people.
Well, he was a civil rights activist. That's why.
Yes.
And one of maybe his fight with the American people at that point was the fact that he was a conscientious objector. Right. He opposed the Vietnam War, hence why he lost
the way
his
I'm
titles.
opposing fat. And people are
well, maybe you could. But I wonder if your approach could be different. Or you actually like the fact that people feel a certain type of way about the way you address it.
No, the problem is right now that you're comparing me to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali lived in a complete different time compared to me. He didn't have social media. He didn't have all this. So to compare me to him and the way I speak compared to him is...
Oh, okay. There's still a number of humble champions still right now. Well known. I mean, Francis Ngannou being one.
Yeah.
Pretty known. Khabib. Well loved.
Yeah.
Would anyone say he's arrogant? I mean, there is that expression, pride comes before a fall. Right. And I think we've seen that with some of the most maybe commercially successful fighters. Floyd Mayweather comes to mind. Conor McGregor comes to mind. Right. To say they are beloved, maybe, but
I'm sure
at some point they certainly were.
I'm sure they still are very beloved.
But they were controversial, Right. They
I
brought
mean,
in
they're in the
heat.
fighting business, like I said earlier. You know, you
But
have to
this
be
is
controversial.
what to counter the fact that you have to be in this manner, that you can't be a humble champion or commercially successful. Alexander Usyk, all right, probably the greatest heavyweight at the moment.
Have you seen Usyk trash talk?
I mean, but he doesn't trash talk ordinary people. All right, this fight does not.
I mean, I think he should. I think he should. With his influence and his popularity, he should be at least trying to make the world a better place. And I honestly think that I am. I'm trying, at least.
Okay.
I'm trying to bring up problems that people should know. You know, I'm trying to educate the people. Of course, I say it in ways that some people won't like to say it, won't like to hear it, but that's the way I need to do it.
Well,
I'm playing the cards that I'm dealt. You know, to make the biggest impact on people is to do the things that I'm doing.
well, okay. I'm sure later on down the line, this interview will certainly come to play. Maybe when you start pursuing your political career.
Of course, if I wouldn't be speaking the way I am if actually I would. I would. You know, if I have the chance, I will. But I probably wouldn't be elected prime minister if I speak the way I am. But that's the advantage that I have right now. You know, I'm not dependent on anyone. I have everything I need. And I say things based off my free will. If someone wants to not listen to me, it's totally up to you. Just turn off your phone. Keep swiping. I'm not forcing you to listen to me. Like, if you want to listen and if you want to be hurt by what I say, that's 100% up to you. You get what I mean? Like, if I say that I don't like fat people, why do you care? You know? You probably care because you want to be liked by me, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
so if you don't care, just keep swiping. If someone on the internet says, oh, I don't like Johan Ghazali, why? Because, I don't know, he talks too much. Okay. Up to you. I don't give a shit.
It's probably your position, though, right? You're a public figure, right? It's very different from just an ordinary person talking.
I mean, that's 100% up to them.
You
wouldn't say that? Like, if I was a public person listening to you on your podcast and you said like, you said whatever, you don't like Malaysian American kids. I say, why? Because because they're mixed or whatever. You know, you say something. Okay, up to you. That's your opinion.
It's probably who you represent, though. Right? You are the pride of a people, and isn't it possible that when you fight, right? They mention where you're from. They put Kuching, Malaysia.
Yeah.
So these people who are watching feel that you are representing them, and whilst maybe some of what you say may be true or may be accurate, it does hurt them. Now, when
the truth
your
hurts.
fight now comes and you're attacking them in ways that maybe you could express differently.
I'm honestly not trying to attack anyone. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to help people.
Okay.
If me saying that being obese is bad means I'm attacking people, then so be it. I'm saying the truth. And if me saying that I'm not saying anything that's wrong here, I really don't understand.
I understand you don't understand. It's perfectly fine.
No, I don't understand why people don't agree with me. They probably they don't like how I say it, but
that's a start.
Not agreeing with me is a whole different story. You know, I can I understand if you don't like the way I speak or if you don't like the way I look or whatever, but what I'm saying is true.
We're going in circles. Let's move on. All right.
Yeah.
I think we're running out of time. All right. So just a few more questions. I think Coach Addy, right, has trained all of you, like you and your siblings from the beginning.
Yeah, he used to.
All right. So when you look at your siblings, right, what do you notice? Like, who has what? Like, is there someone who's a better kicker? Someone who's a better, like, who's the best fighter, say, of the siblings?
Yeah, we all have very different styles. To say better fighter is very hard because they're all very good fighters. My little brother is a more evasive fighter. He's a more smart fighter. My older brother is very talented. My little sister is very hardworking like me. She's very talented as well. So we're all very talented in our own fields. We all have different styles. It's like trying to compare painters. It's hard. You know, like Picasso has his way of painting, and like this guy has a way of painting. So it's
brand.
Yeah, it's all art. You know, we have our own styles, and to compare who's better and better and better is very hard. It really depends on who the people enjoy seeing more.
Oh no, but I think it's easy to be objective in fighting because you get a winner. Like, all right.
I would say so, but I would never fight my siblings, you know, so we would never know.
If one championship ever did bring up that prospect, they're like, oh, the Ghazali brothers. Would you would accept that fight?
No, never.
Oh,
I would never fight my brothers. No, it's no question. They're blood. You know. Yeah, family runs strong in our family. You know, we stick together no matter what. Why would I want to fight my brother? It does not bring me. Beating my brother would not bring me any sort of benefit in my life.
But did you guys spar?
Yeah, we spar all the time, but that's in order to get better. You know, we improve each other by fighting each other. So, but like real life fighting with people watching and people wanting a winner and a loser, it does not bring any benefit to it. I have two brothers. Why would I want to fight them? I have the whole world to fight.
Right on, man. Second last question. What does 10-year-old Jojo, the lazy nerd kid who hated sport, what do you think he would think of who you've become now?
He'd be proud. 100% he would be proud.
Oh, wonderful. Jojo, that was quite an interesting conversation.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your candid nature and that you actually took the time to sit down and face
of course, yeah,
whatever conversation, whatever the questions were. Thank you. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That. Ladies and gentlemen, a book-loving kid from Kuching who once actively avoided sports transformed into one of the most fiercely debated young athletes in Southeast Asia. At 19, his reality consists of conquering marathons in Cape Town, piloting planes, I believe, and setting off massive national firestorms over modern lifestyle choices. Whatever your conclusion is on the worldview behind the mask, the raw discipline, the trajectory, and the results remain undeniable. And to our audience, if this conversation forced you to think, please share it and subscribe to Go Talk Studios for more uncompromising dialogue. Now, you know our closing out statement.
Yeah. Gordon told me.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Real people, real stories, real Sarawak.
Until next time.